I watched the movie today. I'm looking at the preview and I'm reading the description. Something told me I don't need this movie in my spirit right now. I don't need this movie in my spirit. But I sat there and watched like a dummy. This movie is based on a true story. Okay. This movie is based on a true story. It tells the story of a 2 year, well, I guess she was either 2 or 3, of a 2 to 3 year old child whose mother died in her sleep from pills, and her father was away on a business trip. This 3 year old basically is at home by herself with her dead mother in the bed upstairs. I did not need this movie in my spirit. Lord have mercy. So many things wrong. This child was in constant danger from start to finish. So she wakes up, she rolls over, her mother is already dead. She's a toddler, and oh my god, there's so many things wrong, right? And then as the child goes up and downstairs trying to feed itself and do things and still try to wake her mother up, and then the mother leaves a note, or she writes on the mirror in lipstick as to why she took her own life, because then as the child is trying to wake the mother up, out pours this bottle of pills. And then the little girl is asking, "Mommy, can I eat one?" Oh my god! And then the night before was her birthday party, and the place is trash. It was a great party, right? But then there all this wiring, jerry rig. It's almost like the mother, when she decided to take her own life. Now, mind you, it's based on a true story. It seemed the mother set the house up for the child to get killed, because the mother said in her note on the mirror she didn't have the guts to take her daughter with her. Then the backstory is the mother is in an abusive marriage. Once again, this is an Indian flick, Hindi. It's in Hindi, but it's Indian. And then the mother, when they do show her face, she has bruises because they fought the night before he left for his trip. He was late for his daughter's birthday party, so he's already in Kolkata. And so the little girl, Pihu, oh my god, and um, so the iron is still on in the mother's bedroom. And then there's these balloons, and then there's a power outage, brownout back and forth, and like I said, all these exposed wires. And then she's hungry. She says, "Mommy, I'm hungry." Then she goes to cook herself something to eat. Shit is always on fire. She's burning the food. This child is in constant danger the entire movie. Then she goes out to the balcony, and then she's asking for more and a shiki, and no one's responding. And her doll somehow falls over the fucking balcony. They're like 7, 8 stories up. This child climbs on the top of the fucking the railing and is like, "I, my doll, Pihu's doll." And some lady is like off camera, is like, "What are you doing? Get down! Where's your mom?" And then she burned herself with the iron. And then the water is running, and then she tries to cook herself some bread in the microwave, burns it. Then she turns on all the eyes on the fucking stove, on the oven, to cook her some bread. That catches on fire. This child is in constant danger. I told Knucklehead, I said, "I can't watch this shit. I don't need this movie in my spirit." Yet I kept watching. And so then she gathers up her mother's pills, and she keeps asking her dead mother, "Mommy, can I take one? Can I eat one? Can I eat one?" So she eats one. Now, in between all this, the father calls the phone. The phone initially is on the top of a bookshelf, and she climbs up there to get the phone. Mind you, she's like 2 to 3 years old, so she's not well versed on phones, whatever. She talks to her dad, and dad's like, "Hey, where's your mom?" She's like, "Mommy's sleeping." And then he calls a bunch of times, leave these messages, what he thought was for the mother. He said, "I'm not coming back home until you die." Supreme asshole, supremely mad abusive, mad abusive, mad abusive, right? He blames her for everything, for missing the flight, for everything, right? So in the message, she was like, "You said you're not coming back home until I'm dead." So and then I didn't. Then she writes, "I didn't have the guts to take Pihu with me." Oh my God. So then she starts eating the pills one by one, and then the place downstairs, it begins to flood, right? Because the water's still running in the faucet, and then the burner's still on, and then there's these brownouts, and then at one point she's watching TV, the power goes out, she goes behind the TV, all these jerry rigged exposed wires. Oh my God. So she eats the pill. She eats one pill, and then she eats two pills. She's like, bitter medicine. She comes back and eats three more pills. She eats 5 pills altogether. So finally, the residents in the apartment complex say, "You know, enough is enough. What is going on? There's water coming from this place. The electricity keeps going out." And so Pihu eats 5 pills. Mind you, the mother's dead in bed. And then at one point she starts crying because after she burned herself with the iron, she lays on top of her mother. She's crying, and she has little moments, and so she lays down and go to sleep. Now listen, there's child acting, and then there's not child acting. What I'm saying is, when you watch her go to sleep, it's literally her eyes roll in the back of her head. That's not acting. Now, I'm not saying this child actually took real sleeping pills. I'm telling you, a 2 to 3 year old cannot act that well. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to watch the movie, that part when after the 5th pill, she gets sleepy, she lays on the floor, and she gets really, when a motherfucker is drained and they are on something, and she closes her eye, and her eye, you can see it roll it back. That's not acting. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. That is not acting. So she lays down. The father, last conversation he has with P, who's like, "Okay, I'm coming. I'm on my way back home. I'm on my way back home." So everyone's at the door. They're trying to break the door down. The father comes in and opens the door. Everybody rushes in. And then it's his point of view. He's running down. He's downstairs. He sees all the domestic shit caught on fire. There's fire damage, and then he's like, he runs upstairs, and he's like, "Piho, puha, puha, piho, piho," and so he sees his dead wife. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And then he's looking for Piho, and it's the lights are flickering, and there's water damage everywhere, and fire damage and shit. He's like, "Piho, Piho, Piho." He's like, "Papa." He's like, "Where are you? Where are you?" Piho is alive underneath the bed, building blocks, playing with her building blocks, saying, "Hey, Daddy, I built us a beautiful home." Jesus Christ. I did not need this movie in my fucking spirit. I did not need this movie in my spirit. This was based on a true damn story. They actually showed the picture of the actual child and father in the beginning. I did not need this movie in my spirit. Damn you, Netflix, and you Indian folks who made this movie. This thing was 2018, 2019. I did not need this movie in my spirit. Now, hey,